Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to the Popternative podcast. It's the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of music, pop culture, TV, film, sports, social media, everything really, depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on social media, you know me as PD Beats. And my guest is a singer-songwriter. People will know her as Chloé Caroline. Chloé, welcome to Popternative.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
No, absolutely. I like the background you got going on. You got the guitar, you got the plant. I really like it. It's nice.
It wasn't even purposeful, but we can pretend.
Whether you sing, whether it's someone who sings, whether it's someone who acts, someone who writes, you're all storytellers. When did Chloé Caroline decide she wanted to be a storyteller?
Man, well, I started writing songs when I was like 6 years old. And then I kind of, I was really young, so it doesn't really count. But I just loved it, and I loved reading, and I loved writing stories, just even not like I used to say I was going to write a novel when I was younger. And so I would always write these stories and make them up. And then when I was 11, I just began to write poetry. I had a great teacher in school when I was in 7th grade that kind of had us go into class every day and just kind of write whatever came to mind. And I just became really good at creative writing and using my words to describe things. And then I got very sick when I was around that same time, and music for me became therapy. It became my friend, the only way I could kind of let out what I was going through at the time, because I wasn't allowed to be in school. It was just a whole thing. And so I would write, and that poetry turned into me teaching myself how to play guitar, and then using those poems as lyrics. And it just kind of went from there. And around, 9th grade or so, I would post videos of me playing those songs from whatever, I'd been going through, whatever my friends had been going through, and would post them. And my friends would, at school would be like, oh my gosh, I really relate to your music. And I think that's kind of when I realized, okay, this has the power to reach people beyond just helping myself. You know what I mean? So
for sure. And I'm sure there were some kind of artists that kind of hold close to your heart. What were some artists and some influences for Chloé Caroline over the past couple of years, or in your childhood as well?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up with everything. I always say I'm a 70s and 90s baby, and early 2000s. So I would say Stevie Nicks, from,
yeah,
she's the best, for sure. So her, but Karen Carpenter, Carole King, as far as women, they were just huge in my life. And then also Michelle Branch, Avril Lavigne, Gwen Stefani, no doubt. That that whole era of music, I think, has kind of morphed my sound a lot.
No, absolutely. No, that's good. So I kind of want you to kind of I want an opportunity for you to give my viewers and my listeners an opportunity to kind of get to know your music, and I want them to check out your music. So I've been doing this with a lot of artists I've had on. So I want you to name me 3 songs, and it's 3 songs that you that you wrote and that you performed. And
okay,
there's 3 different I want 3 different songs. So I want a dancey song. I want a song that's going to kind of of yours that is going to get people in a good mood, happy,
okay,
dancey song. Secondly, okay, I want a song of yours that is very meaningful. I'm sure they're all meaningful, but one specifically that holds close to your heart about past experiences. And then third, there's a lot of songs, that are trendy lately, and specific sounds are more popular than others. So I want one of your songs that you think is more of your trendiest songs in terms of, what. So I want the dancey, I want the meaningful, and I want the trendy.
okay,
For Chloé Caroline, go.
Okay. So I would say dancey. I have a song called Loving Young. It was actually used on a soundtrack for a Hallmark movie, but it's very much fun, lighthearted, that sort of vibe, I guess. So I would say that one. What was the second one?
Meaningful, yes.
Meaningful. I have a song called Confetti that came out fairly recently, 2020, started 2020. And that song just the moment I wrote it, I was like, this song is like my child. Like, you know, you just like have those songs that really, really you hold on to. It's about dating the life of the party, that person that walks in the room that, you know, lights up the room and steals your heart. But there's like definitely a downside to dating that type of person. So it's really a lot of imagery, a lot of metaphors.
Absolutely. And the third one would be the trendy one, or which one? What's one of your new singles that people could check out on Spotify? That type of stuff.
Trendy. I have a song called Messy. That's just kind of different. You know, it's like, I don't know, the verses almost have like this sort of talk rappy thing, not like rap in like the typical sense, but you'd have to hear it. It's just kind of funky and like vibey and very real. The lyrics, like I try to make all my lyrics very authentic, very genuine and real. And this one kind of like really just like is it doesn't hold anything back, I guess I'll say.
Oh, no, absolutely. So a lot of people are kind of keeping busy with certain social media and digital media platforms during this quarantine. A lot of people like myself have been doing Instagram lives, but there's also people that are doing things on TikTok. What do you kind of think about a lot of the things going on now in the digital world? And are you partaking in any of it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's quite an amazing time to like be able to take advantage of that stuff, especially, you know, with everything going on. And it's so great that I'm still able to, you know, talk to my fans and reach people, even though I'm sitting on my couch, you know, and I can't play shows right now. And so I think that's such a wonderful thing. I think that I just love that so many artists are going on live, playing music, being real, and still putting themselves out there, even though a lot of them are going through really difficult times as well. For me, I got to go live with my friend Courtney Cole, who's another Nashville artist that lives in LA now. She literally lives down the street from me, ironically, but we went live together. That was really fun. I'm going to go live again next Friday on somebody else's account, actually, and then I'm going to start doing it myself a little bit more. Yeah, it's honestly really great practice too. So
no, for sure. I'm actually planning, and the interest, like I'm finalizing the lineup, but the interest has been cool. I'm doing what I'm calling Popternative Fest, where I'm going to be going live with like a bunch of artists.
Love it.
On Instagram, and they're going to perform like a couple of songs each, and it's going to be like a lineup, and it's going to be sick.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's no, it's I'm probably gonna do it May 2nd. It's a Saturday, so it's yeah, no, absolutely. That's something you want to be interested in. We could talk, but like it's cool because a lot of people are just like they're taking their guitar and they're playing songs.
Yeah, and
they're taking their piano.
It honestly forces you out of your comfort zone because you're on live. Like you know what I mean? Like you might be used to whether it's playing with a band or just like having your set all rehearsed out, and like in an Instagram live setting, maybe it's not like that. Maybe you're just kind of whipping out your guitar, trying something new, or whatnot.
Well, I've seen both of it. Like I've seen like the acoustic guitar obviously is like the big one, but I've also seen like the piano, like people just kind of taking out the keyboard and just like killing it. It's just like this is sick. You know what I mean? It's easy. But I love it.
It's great. I mean, there is definitely something about just like watching live music, and if you can't even be a part of it, but still getting like that virtual experience, it's something, you know, that you can't really replace.
No, absolutely. So what have been, I want to know kind of pre-quarantine, what are some things that in the last couple of years that Chloé Caroline has done in her music career that you're really proud of, like whether it was really a really cool show you played or a really cool reception on a certain song, like something like that, kind of like a highlight. And then I kind of want to know, when this quarantine kind of fades out, what are some things that you're kind of looking to do, like tour wise, music wise? So past, like a past and a present and a future type kind of question.
Okay, I feel you. So for me, I would say I was really excited about getting to go to Thailand last May. That was kind of like when I made my decision to move from Nashville back to LA. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, lived in Nashville for a very long time, had just decided to move back, and I got to go to Thailand, crazily enough, to record an EP at this place called Karma Sound Studios. And I got to work with these great British, Australian producers, writers, and got to bring music that I had written in LA and Nashville as well. And I got to write there too, and got to make just like the coolest project in this house in Thailand, and just kind of get to hang out with cool people and make music. And it was just such an experience that, I mean, I'll never forget. And like, that's kind of the next round of music that I'm very excited to release. Hopefully soon. And so there's that. And then, you know, I got to play Sundance Film Festival. That was start of 2020. 2020 was rolling for me, you know?
Yeah, it was rolling and then just kind of stopped.
Yeah. I got to play Sundance Film Festival. That was just such a blast too. Love that. Lisa Loeb, Georgia Koo were two artists that I got to play with. And that, you know, it's Sundance. So it speaks for itself. Just a really cool opportunity. I got to do a Caesars residency in Las Vegas last year.
Really?
I did. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, it was great. And that was just kind of like me and my guitar player, Matt, went and did a totally stripped down thing. And I played original music, which, you know, people in Vegas aren't really used to.
Was it in the hotel or was it at a venue?
All throughout Caesars. Yeah. So, or all throughout the Strip, basically.
So did people have to kind of buy tickets to see you, or were you just kind of playing like in the hotel lounge?
There was like they didn't have to pay, which was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was in certain like venues within those hotels. And then there was one that was like in, you know, like a lobby area, but for the most part, they were all in
so it was a venue. People kind of go to a venue, you know, get a drink, and they're at the hotel and they could see you perform.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's sick though. That's awesome.
It was awesome. And it really forced me to like have to just roll with the punches, and you don't know. I mean, you are getting all types of people, not, you know, people that I never thought, would like my music. I mean, The first show I was like thrown into play was like in front of like all these people that listen to like metal, and there I go up and I'm like forced to play my music, and you just have to own it. And by the end of it though, like they were singing along and just like, you know, hanging out and checking out my music. So that was a really just great growing experience for me.
So I'm all over the map in terms of like what I listen to. Like I listen to everything, but like metal and punk and that stuff holds a soft spot in my heart. Were you ever into that stuff and anything, or you just never got into it?
I mean, I'm into so many different types of music as well. I would say like not really metal, but I love rock. I guess a little bit of the punk stuff for sure.
What was kind of like, so I'm curious because some people, like when I ask you this question, some people might have different definitions. What is, in terms of the punk and the rock that you listen to, what would you consider, or like a song, what's the heaviest song that you listen to?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Now I'm trying to think.
Or like artists that, because like, you know how like some of my friends would be like, oh, I listen to metal, and they say I listen to Nickelback, and I personally love Nickelback.
Would probably be like the heaviest, I guess.
Who?
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. Okay.
Like, maybe.
All right. Next question.
Like not like screamo, like.
Hey, there's a lot of people that enjoyed screamo music. It was a good phase. It's kind of funny because I would go to like a lot of these shows and see these guys scream and do all these crazy things, and first thing that came to mind was like they must, like, their voice might hurt. And then I don't know if you've ever met anyone who like has done that type of music, but it's all like diaphragm, right? Like you're not using your throat. Yeah,
they're trained to sing like that, which is crazy.
I know it is wild. No, but that music will always be close to me because I grew up with that stuff.
Yeah.
But I grew up like Blink-182 and Green Day, like my two favorite bands of all time. Like Sum 41, that stuff's fun.
Oh.
Have you ever covered anything like that? Like, have you ever done have you ever taken songs and cover them and made them your own type thing?
Yeah, I mean, I just recently, like for the quarantine, well, not for it, but just like during it, I covered, this isn't like metal or anything, but I covered Prince. You know, I covered like Little Red Corvette. Love that song. I've covered, it's funny, like you have to be super careful with covers because you really do have to like either go so close to the original that it's like right there, you know what I mean? Or do something totally different.
Like, I mean, I've seen people like Seven Nation Army by White Stripes, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah. I've seen so many people do like cool versions of it that I like never would imagine. Like, it's really cool. Like, I've seen people like do it like on piano. I've seen people do like an opera a cappella version of it. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. No, I think it's the coolest thing. I mean, I love covering To Love Somebody by the Bee Gees. I always kind of do like a completely different version of that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've definitely covered a couple different tunes. I always do oldies though. I get it. Like, it's fun to sing like new stuff and, you know, whatever. But it's for me, I got a soft spot for that. If I'm going to do a cover, I guess.
No, absolutely. Well, Chloé, thank you so much for joining me on Popternative, the chat. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. You know, new music's coming. So
yeah, absolutely. This is like plug away. Where can people follow you? They can obviously get your current stuff like on Spotify or wherever they download music, right?
Spotify, just Chloé Caroline, Instagram at Chloé Caroline, ChloéCaroline.com.
People keep forgetting about that one, right?
The main website. Twitter, I'm Chloé Caroline. So I'm literally everywhere. Give me a follow. TikToks, I do have a TikTok. It's very new.
Like, you have a TikTok, but it's like you have a TikTok, but like some people have TikTok, but they don't have a TikTok, if you know what I mean. They don't use it often. But are you using it?
I've used it like a couple times, like for a little, like for some like cover stuff. I would love to like figure it out. It's like a whole another world, but you know, so follow me on there.
No, absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this, and we wish you all the best, and hope you're staying safe during this quarantine.
Yeah, you too.
No, absolutely.
I'm trying to like drop a record during the quarantine, so I really hope that people are ready to listen. You know, I hope that you're
absolutely
on your couches with your headphones in, ready to like rock out.
Very cool. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is Chloé Caroline and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.